Well, this is one of the fields that they made a deal with the federal government that they couldn't farm in the park anymore, even though they've done that historically since the 1800s, middle 1800s. But the feds said, this is a floodplain, and when you clear a field like this, it's going to cause all kinds of problems. So people said, no, we want to keep it as it is and have it part wild like this and part farmland because it's nice and historic. And when the city council took a vote, so many people were against it that they voted it down. They refused the, what was it, $800,000? $815,000 or something the federal government was willing to give if we promised in Salem, Oregon that we would never again allow any farming in this large parkland. This is just a small fraction of it. I mean, it really goes way the hell back there. You've seen these other videos. And so we won, and everybody's really happy. Because even in these economic times, this recession in the year 2010, our city council stood up to the federal government and said, no, it's part of our history to have it done that way. And so, a few weeks later, without much notoriety, city council met again, and this time, not in secret exactly, but certainly without the fanfare, they decided they would reconsider it and vote to accept the money, and they did, just before the deadline closed with the federal government, and now this land must be restored to its natural habitat. Well, there's two schools of thought here. One of them is that this ought to go back to nature, because near the city here, this is actually sort of off the edge of the main drag of Salem, and could be a central park someday if development eventually surrounds it. Making it go natural would be a real keen way to preserve maybe a riparian forest or something with the oaks and the ecosystem. Another school of thought says, yeah, but there's history too, and all the other places you can go to see farming are on farms owned by other people, and these farms, you can walk right through them because you're a citizen of Salem, Oregon, and these farms were leased on your land, and there couldn't be any no trespassing signs. So for those of us who grew up in places like Southern California where it was real hard to see a farm, here I could go out and watch the pumpkins come up or any other crop that they planted. Beans they had here sometimes, and it was almost like I had a farm of my own. So for me, I kind of sided with the people who said that the history goes back to these two guys in Minto Brown Park, Minto and Brown, who were, wait for it, farmers. And this was the land they farmed, and it was continuously farmed today. Living history, which has now been killed by the city council in favor of those who say Oregon does not have enough wild land. No, we must take this land that's been used historically and even named for the people who farmed it, and have future generations come and say, oh, I guess Minto and Brown must have been forest conservationists, because that's all the hell that's here now. Enjoy this peaceful walk through our soon-to-be riparian Oregon forest, which is currently a field in Fella.
So you're saying it's a field of dreams?
Broken dreams.
Broken.
If you unbuild it, they will go.